guys, welcome back to Utterly Unfiltered with
Tash
and Cara. I feel like we haven't done you in a long time.
We did it last time we recorded.
Oh, well, that was like a long time ago. We're going to talk about things that no one tells you about in your late 20s in this session.
We are.
But before we do that, something that reminded me of, we were having dinner with my parents. So we were having like a South African braai. And my parents pulled out quite a few of the stops. They did the biltong, they did the some of the salads that are more traditionally South African. Sweet corn bake. I don't know if that's like Afrikaans, I think, or I don't know where it originates, probably Dutch, but we have a lot of like sort of Dutch and German heritage. And it was amazing, but the conversation came up at the table and Tash was like, Cara, do you want to get a matching Utterly Unfiltered tattoo with me? So I thought that we should put it to the vote. Wait,
did we say that in front of your parents?
What did they
say? Did they like it, the idea?
The table fell silent.
Did it? I don't remember this, actually.
Yeah, that's like, do you want to get it? So, let us know.
Do you think we should get... I'd get an Utterly Unfiltered tattoo with you.
What would the design be? Would it be you? Or would it just be two, like, blabbermouths with speech
Or we
bubbles?
could do, like, one person can have Utterly and the other person can have Unfiltered.
Yeah, but I don't want Utterly.
Okay.
Do you want Utterly?
I don't know, it's a fun word.
Utterly. I'd be like, explain that.
Utterly. Buttery.
Oh my gosh, yes. And Unfiltered is fun, and it's probably more apt for me.
Yeah, we could just both get unfiltered.
We could.
That would work too.
That actually would work.
But I just feel like you, it doesn't really it doesn't say anything, you know?
You.
Yeah. It's not really like the vibe. I would get like a little podcast mic or something.
Or like, that would be cute actually. No, that's actually quite a good idea. We don't have to get a word. We can get a little
we can
symbol.
something that's like symbolic.
Imagine if that's
podcast.
My first tattoo.
I think it would be cute. I think that's the only way in which you'll actually get a tattoo is if it's like matching with somebody, because I don't think
that's
you'd
true.
get one by yourself.
And also, it's better than like a dragon or a skull. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of like my way into the tattoo world.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I've always thought
soft
launch. But I don't. I like to hard launch things. But my other idea for a tattoo, really cringe, but music related, because I love music, would be like, have you seen... Well, you would have, because I know you've done like music lessons as well. Like, you know, sheet music, like with the lines.
Yeah.
With the 6 lines. I'm thinking like piano music, but probably applies to everything. I was thinking like one like bar of those lines with little notes on that are chords, and then that match like a favorite lyric of a song or something. So then the lyric would be underneath.
I think it's a cute idea.
I think it's such a cute idea.
I think it's a very cute idea.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I just don't know what lyric it would be. Probably a Taylor Swift lyric.
Classic, honestly.
Because it would be that, or it would be one of my own lyrics, but I feel like that's a bit of a flex. But then at the same time, I feel like that's probably going to it's going to keep meaning something to me, as opposed to Tasha's just yawning.
No,
at my phenomenal tattoo story.
It's not you,
That's
me.
fine, I'm boring you. Let's move on. What can you tell me that's riveting?
I do think that that's a good idea, actually. And I think you should get one that is your songs, because I do think they will probably be more...
Resonate more.
Yeah, like if you have like a favourite lyric or a favourite like line
message
from a song or something, then I think you should definitely
do that. I have a cringe one.
Yeah, of course you do. Go on then, tell us.
Well, there's two, because they mirror each other, so it would be one of these. And it's a folk song. It's not my favourite song, but I wrote the lyrics when I was quitting my job to become a musician. And so it was all like, it was like a hype song. It was like a self-hype song. So one of the lines is, please don't judge, I'm the compass, I will never walk alone. That's just yawning again. Very aptly.
It's cute. No, it's cute.
But the second one is, I'm the music, I will never sing alone.
I like that.
Lame.
I like it.
But the message was strong to me. It's basically saying like, you are the...
It's follow your intuition.
Yeah, it is. And it's like you are, like you look externally for like, you know, to find the way or the maps or whatever, but actually you are the map. I have no sense of direction.
Yeah.
And also in life, in every single term.
Yeah.
So that's a bit fucked that I'm my own compass, but you know, we're getting through.
Exactly. I like that. Actually, I like the compass line the best.
Thanks.
I think that's
and I could have a little compass maybe at the top or something.
That's a cute idea.
North, south, east, west.
Yeah.
Or maybe...
Isn't it north, east, south, west?
Depends which way you go. Oh no, it doesn't. North, south, east, west. Yeah, no, it doesn't. North and south are polar opposites.
Yeah, north, south, east, west is like this.
North, south, east, west.
Yeah,
yes. Oh, north, south, east, west.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be east. Now we shall eat. Yeah.
Never eat shredded wheat.
Never eat shredded wheat. That's you going the opposite way. Oh, interesting. I like shredded wheat though. Cereal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like shreddies. What's your favorite cereal? Just to undo the profoundness of this conversation.
Oh, good question. I used to really like Cheerios. I honestly never eat cereal.
Oh.
But I did used to really like Cheerios. Or the banana mini Weetabix.
Oh, you heathen!
Yeah, but
Banana!
but the ones with the little banana chips in them, not the one with the banana flavouring.
No, that makes me feel a bit
They
funny.
used to do them. We used to have them in Oman, where we lived in Oman. That was like our favourite breakfast, so Dad's favourite too. And it was like pieces of like dried banana, like chipped. Like instead of chocolate chips, it was like banana chips
Okay.
in the Weetabix, and that honestly is pang. But
Are
banana,
they dried bananas?
yeah,
Okay.
But banana flavoured Weetabix, which is the like one you get now. Why am I like this? Honestly, I don't know. I'm not even tired. I slept reasonably well last night. I've had 2 coffees this morning.
And we haven't been yawning at all.
No, and then like the second you put a camera in front of me, I'm like, oh, honestly.
Oh man.
Why am I like this?
Yeah, maybe this is like subconsciously telling our listeners that we're boring and they should
Maybe
listen.
it is. I don't know.
No, Dad. You gotta stop, my friend. I'm gonna have to
Mum
hook
always
you up to
says
a UV
that
of coffee.
I know. Mum always says that people yawn for out of anxiety.
Do you
Like
think
that's
it
what
could
it
be that?
is? But
could
I'm
be
like,
that.
I'm not anxious. I'm chilling.
Maybe more than you think, though.
Maybe I am. Maybe
'cause we're-
subconsciously anxious.
'cause
I think I'm always subconsciously anxious, to be honest.
Yeah, no,
I
likewise.
think that's just my normal state of being.
Mine does slip into the conscious quite often. I was thinking the other day of doing, because Tasha's sending me to therapy, and I
Yes.
haven't looking into it,
Good
but I
girl.
also wondered if I should do hypnotherapy. But I know that's for specific things.
Yeah.
Like traumas or addictions or whatever, but I would just be, like, I know that there's stuff in there. And I know that I, like, can access it in ways, but not fully. I would love to just know what my actual, like, brain is, like, what it's repressing or what it's keeping in.
Yeah.
I would be so interested.
I feel like you got to start with regular talking therapy. And then I do think that NLP therapy would be quite good for you.
Is that where they do hypno?
Which is, like, very similar to hypno, but rather than, like, I don't really know, like, I feel like it is very similar. I actually think that probably, like, a lot of hypnotherapy actually is NLP. Because hypnotherapy, when you think of it, like, is usually, like, where you, like, go, ooh, and then they ask you things or whatever.
Yes, I want them to do that.
But with NLP, it's more like you, like, visualize something.
Okay.
And then they'll ask you to, like, tell them what you're visualizing.
Okay.
So it's like, it's a bit more conscious, I guess. But you still, like, unlock the subconscious.
Okay.
But, like, in a kind of more...
Controlled
Controlled
way.
way, I guess.
Okay.
And also, like, I think it's, like, easier to not resist, if that makes sense. Because I think with hypnotherapy, you have to not resist.
You have to be so open to it.
Yeah.
Which is true, which some people could be scared about
Yeah.
doing and then block it, right?
Exactly. Whereas with NLP, it's a bit more like nothing scary is happening. You're just picturing something. They'll ask you, for example, to, like, imagine yourself flying, like, over time.
Okay.
So, like, you're like, and then you're looking down at, like, a time in your life
Interesting.
where something, like, traumatic happened or whatever. But basically, they'll just ask you to, like, fly from the time you are now back to when you were a child. Like, so you close your eyes and you picture yourself, like, flying over time. And then they'll ask you to stop whenever you feel, like, drawn to stop. And then they'll ask you to, like, look at that point in time where you've been drawn to stop and, like, tell them what's going on. And, like, what's happening in that time. And then, like, basically if you, like, after they ask you prompting questions. I can't remember them off the top of my head. I did actually train in this, but I can't remember
feel
off
like
the
you
top of
did,
my head.
yeah.
And they'll ask you prompting questions to, like, kind of unlock, like, exactly what's happening in the scene that you're imagining.
Okay.
And then what will happen is you'll create a new version of that reality, because basically all we have is our memories, right?
And we're constantly creating new versions of reality.
Exactly.
Anyway.
And even the memory that we have will not be an accurate representation of what actually happened, because that's not how your memory works. So what you can do is, like, say, for example, so, like, I can think of, like, okay, so I've never really liked authority, and I can think of why, because I remember I was so, like, scared of teachers, and I scratched my knee in the playground, and, like, I fell over, and it was, like, on gravel. I think it must have been, like, year 3 or something. And I went back into, like, you know, form time or whatever it's called, I can't remember. And I was crying, but I was too scared to tell the teacher that I'd hurt myself. So I was just, like, sat there, like, crying. And the teacher, rather than being like, are you okay? She was like, are you going to go to the nurse or what? And I remember being like, like, oh my god, like this is my worst nightmare. This is the whole reason I didn't want to tell a teacher, was because I didn't want to have to talk to a teacher.
And
then now you've approached me and in exactly the way I didn't want it to be approached, and confirmed my bias.
Literally reinforced it.
If something happened to me, it was my fault, and therefore, like, I was gonna get told off for scratching my knee or whatever. And
it's ridiculous.
So
no surprise.
Yeah, so no surprise. And so that obviously feeds into loads of things of, like, not wanting to ask for what you want, because then you're, like, scared you're going to get told no. But you want to actually realise that, like, what's the worst that can happen? And, like, actually in that situation, like, that's a shit teacher talking to, like, a 7-year-old like that. So, anyways, you, like, picture the event, and then you, like, create a new reality instead. So it's like, okay, what would happen instead? So, like, instead of going back to form time, maybe I would have walked straight to the nurse, because obviously my leg was bleeding. So,
your teacher's response would have been validating and empathetic and nurturing.
Exactly. And it's like, you can just basically recreate that situation.
False reality. False reality things.
Yeah.
I like that, because I'm so delusional that I actually could be very good at that.
It's like, all our memories are... like,
delusional.
Kind of delusional, to be honest. I feel like if you actually, like, I know you can't actually compare it, but they always say, like, memory bias is such a huge thing in psychology, because you just really, we all see situations. You can ask 5 people to relay one event, and they'll relay it in 5 different ways.
Yeah,
so there's no reason why you can't just change the past. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think emotion comes into play with memory? Do you think it's like, if we feel emotionally charged about something, we're going to remember it in a different way? Like, if I've had like an argument with someone and I feel really strongly about the point, I'm going to remember them probably, or I'm going to, in my mind, frame it in the way that they were really maybe patronizing or didn't listen to my perspective, as opposed to maybe it was quite balanced.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like when you bring emotions into the mix, I think they're so much more powerful than logic and memory.
Definitely, because no one will ever put themselves in the bad
light.
So therefore, they're always going to remember, like, literally, like, I can have these arguments with my partner, like, literally, we can be in the car and we'll have seen 2 different versions of reality happen in front of us. But the reality is that, like, neither of us want to be wrong. So therefore, we just see 2 different versions of reality.
Or in contrast, people that really don't trust themselves and have been taught that that kind of they're at fault, would probably always see themselves at fault.
Yeah.
Would probably always think that they did something wrong.
That's probably a good point.
Like, the overthinkers of this world would probably panic because they think they've said something to offend, or they've done something, that it would be disapproved of. And they would reframe it in the sense that they've, like, someone's, like, shocked at them, or I think it can happen in both ways. But all I can think of now is being a bird. I'm like a bird.
If I could be any animal, I would be a bird of some type.
I don't know where my home is.
Oh, so sad. We're in your
I'm
home
so
car.
hormonal, I really could cry at any point. I'm not going to let that make me cry. My period's due and I just don't know what's going on with my mind. Honestly. So this leads us very nicely onto things people don't tell you about in your 20s.
Yes, your late 20s.
Your late 20s specifically. Because it's very different, isn't it? It is very different. I feel like, actually, it's not even different. I feel like I'm in my early 20s, but people's expectations of you change.
Yeah.
And society's expectations of you change in your late 20s.
Yeah.
It's like, no longer feels as acceptable to not know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, you're kind of branded as lost, as opposed to in your early 20s, you're branded as, like, experimental and adventurous.
Yeah, that's such a good point, actually, isn't
I think it's literally, that's the difference for me.
Yeah.
I think that's changing, though. I feel like late 20s is like, it's like being late 30s now, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking
late 20s is like being
early 20s
early 20s,
now.
thank you. Yes, no, fine.
I was thinking this, what was I thinking about the other day? I was just thinking about how, like, I wish I could remember. It was basically something to do with the kind of concept of, like, your 20s are for, like, experimenting, trying new things, like, having adventures or whatever. And whilst, like, I've heard that, I don't know how much, like, I've actually absorbed that. Like, I've done it,
sure,
but I've still felt like I'm weird, or, like, wacky, or wrong,
sure,
or, like,
constantly.
Like, I should. I think. I don't know if I'm gonna say that. I think I was thinking about it because I was thinking about, because obviously we're going traveling, and Ali has to hand in his notice to his job, and he really likes his job. It's just such a shame that he has to hand in his notice, because he's, like, really happy there. But obviously, and then this was what led into it. It's like, however, like, he's 27. Like, this is the opportunity to go and do the travel.
Definitely.
It's like, do it now, because You can't, like, you don't have to have everything figured out at 27. So even if you quit a job you like, doesn't mean that you're never going to find another one that you like again, or you can never go back to that job in the future, because like life is still so long ahead of this that, like, realistically speaking, anything that's happening within these years doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of like who you're going to be in the future.
Sure. I go through waves though of thinking into like polar opposites. The first part of me is like, I am a third of the way through my life and I need to start getting my shit together. The other part of me, which I prefer and I think is actually more accurate, because I think the getting the shit together part of me is like the societal, what I've been taught to believe. Like when I observe like relatives and things, like they all did things in kind of succession, and they you know, have the families and the jobs and the stable careers and the houses and stuff. But then the other part of me is like, I don't think we ever have our shit together. And I don't even think it matters if you're 27, if you're 37, if you're 47, if you want to go and travel for a bit, or you want to quit a job. Like, I don't know that we ever get to a point where we have found ourselves. I think we're constantly evolving. And that makes me comforted in a sense. Then it makes me realize, okay, I'm 28. Don't really know. I don't really know what I know what I want, don't know really how to get it. But I've got certain things of my life sorted. Like I do have I've got a part-time job that allows me money enough to go and do some music. Like I've got my family down the road. I've got a friendship group. I think like I do have more together than I think.
Yeah.
But it's just that what people outwardly see is, I think that they see me as being a really sporadic, free-spirited, a little bit aloof soul who's trying to find out what I'm doing, but I'm kind of doing it in a very structured way.
Yeah.
So it's not even that, but then that becomes your narrative, because people will say like, oh, you're lost, oh, yeah. And then you think, oh, shit, yeah, I am. But actually, no, I know where I want to be.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is that it's funny you say that, because we see ourselves so differently to how other people see us. And it's like, I feel like there's like different circles. There's like you, and there's like people who are like close to you who get like the most insight into your life, and there's like people who are a little bit like outside of the circle, who see you from the outside, and it's like those people, do not think you don't have it together. Because if you actually look at all the things you have, you do have it together. Like you have a house, you have a relationship, you have family, you have a job, you have like a passion in life.
Sure.
Like from that circle,
sure.
You are
from the sort of
thriving
objective.
Yeah.
Not the subjective, right?
Yeah, well, just from people who perhaps don't hear your emotions, because I think your emotions are perhaps the more chaotic part.
Sure.
But the actual, like,
surface
foundations
level,
of the life around you
sure.
are not chaotic.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, that's not how it seems.
There's the incongruence.
I think it's because perhaps what that outward thing is not necessarily in alignment with, like, who you want it, where you want it to be.
Sure.
So therefore, to you, it feels chaotic.
Yeah,
and then you give that energy to people who are closest to you. Do you know what I mean?
That's interesting, but also true. And we've talked about congruence before, and I notice it now more than ever. Like it used to be that when I had intuition about things, and I sort of over kind of ruled that, I would feel okay about it. I just kind of go with it. Now I know, and I have like a physical reaction when I've done something that I know I didn't want to do, or made a decision that I know was the incorrect one. And likewise, if I've made one that I'm satisfied with, I feel good about it. And I keep seeing my angel numbers.
Yes,
all the time.
Love that.
So good. I'm really looking for them. But late 20s. So the thing for me, when you like told me about this is a subject, the first thing that came to mind was what no one tells you about your 20s is how completely different people approach their late 20s. I say early 20s, late 20s, in the sense of like I've got sort of split friendship groups, or sort of, if I split my friends, there would be literally friends who are married and have kids now, who have like, my friends are, so our school friends are having babies now, and then the other side of the coin is friends that are going traveling, like you, Soph, a lot of Alex's friends are just living in London, kind of working, partying, like that's very much where we're at. So it's like couldn't be more different, the way that people are living their lives in their late 20s. And I think that's what shooketh me. Because early 20s, everyone's doing the same thing. Everyone's kind of figuring it out. Everyone's partying a little bit. Everyone's maybe thinking about traveling. Everyone's, studying whatever, working towards jobs. But now, it's like, pew!
I think it comes down to also, like, what your expectations are of, like, what your, like, late 20s will look like. Because, I don't know, like, I don't want to, like, give too much away, I guess. But like for me, like I feel like I'm still so young. Yeah. And like some of the things that like are happening to me like in the near future or whatever, I feel like they're too like, it's like
mature for you.
Yeah,
I
like,
feel that
I
too.
can't believe I'm at this, and I feel like grateful and happy about it. Like I'm like gagged that I am like there. But I'm also like, God, I'm only 28. Like, how, like, I didn't think these kinds of things would happen till at least I was like 30 or whatever, you know?
Sure, okay.
And it's like, I think it does depend on like your expectation. Like some people have the expectation of like, oh yeah, like, you know, my parents had kids young, so therefore like I will have kids young. And then, you know, like that's like what you want for your late 20s. Whereas like for other people like me, like that was not my parents' reality at all. And so it was never going to be my reality. Like I would never think to myself ever in my entire life, I never thought in my 20s I would get married or have kids or like do any of those things, which I haven't done. Like, but that was never going to be a reality for me.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I feel like it is an element of like what you're used to, but you don't necessarily realize that. Like maybe you'll notice when you're kids, you know, like at school, like, oh, you know, my parents are older than my friend's parents or whatever. But you don't think of like where that will take you, I guess.
Where it will affect you.
But then all of a sudden you're like 10 years later and like, oh, those friends are then getting married and having kids. And it's like, oh yeah, because that's what their family did.
Sure.
But like, then they look at me and be like, oh my God, you're going traveling. I was like, well, yeah, my parents traveled until
they
were in their 50s.
You're right, actually.
So,
It is very much, we do kind of have those patterns, those sort of intergenerational patterns. I, though, on the contrary, did think and did always, like, from when I qualified at uni, I remember thinking I'm going to get the job, stable job, the house, the marriage, the kids.
Yeah.
And I did enjoy the idea, especially because my parents are a bit older and my brothers have kids, and like the idea, like that sort of fantasy for me of my kids growing up with their cousins and having their grandparents around.
You've got to catch up 10 years to make that happen.
I know.
Because your brothers are 10 years older than you.
10 and 12. Yeah. Exactly. But I wanted that. So I was always like really kind of, in my mind, I would have said like 27 and I'm happy to have kids.
Yeah.
I'm 28 now. Yeah. I went to the GP yesterday and I was in a waiting room with a lot of mothers and babies.
Yeah.
And I was terrified. I was looking at them like, how are you doing this? I can't tell you. Yeah. I honestly think, but we talked about this before the pod, but I'll say it on the pod as well. Coming off the pill, which I did about a year ago, for no reason other than I just wanted to see what I was like as a human.
Yeah, I remember those days.
It has made me... I don't know what it's done. It's broken me. But, like, I have not... I honestly thought I was really... I don't know if that aligns with it or if I'm just thinking that. But it seems like I'm, like, less ready than ever. And I feel like that should be the opposite. I feel like when you come off the pill, your body should be like, babies, like, smell the babies and feel the instinct and everything. It's really not the case.
No. I mean, well, people say that, don't they? They like, there's, like, this theory that, like, if you date somebody when you're on the pill, you should go off the pill and like just check that you still like them and are still attracted to them, because like it's actually like a whole phenomenon, like it's all over TikTok and stuff. Yeah.
Oh God.
Because like when you suppress your hormones, you're obviously suppressing like your like natural attraction to things and your natural like hormonal wants and needs.
Yeah.
And so you might like a different thing. And then when you go off it, you're like, your regular kind of hormones will come back, and it's like, oh, actually, that's what you actually want. And like,
genuinely.
So it's like, maybe like when you're on the pill, like other people are having babies, and you're like, oh yeah, like I've got baby fever, but it's because like, you know, all of your hormones were kind of flattened out.
Sure.
But then when you go off it, it's like, they're like, oh, like hello, attraction, you know, like, actually, you know, like, I'm having fun. Like, my hormones are like, let's chill, let's have a good time, you know?
I can't believe we ever go on the pill.
I know.
What the fuck?
I know.
That was like 9 years of my life. Of
actually
just not
ridiculous,
being
honestly.
Probably myself at all.
I know.
At all.
I've been off it for like 5 years now.
Oh my God.
Which is crazy.
How long did it take you to sort of get to a point where you started learning more about what your normal cycle is?
I've been tracking since 2020.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So can you pull apart what's you and what's your cycle? Like, can you say, because you said this to me before, you're like, if I'm in my luteal phase, like I hate, like, I don't hate Ali. No, we know you love Ali, but you just like your hormones are raging.
And it's like I literally don't like him. Like I'll go through like a full like about 12 days of like not actually liking him. I mean, actually the last 2 cycles have actually been fine, but I feel like that's just because I don't know, he's just been so lovely
and
recently.
And you've had your anniversary.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we were literally on our anniversary week during my lose your face,
and you were like,
and I said to him, I literally said to him, I was like, I have to warn you now, because he's aware of it too. Like, and I was like,
as they should be. I think they should be, because
it affects him as well.
Yeah, well, and they need to know it's not just, we're not trying to be a certain way. Yeah. We're just like, our bodies are just...
It's just what's happening. And I literally, like, said to him, like, you know, you have to be extra... I know you were taking my anniversary weekend, but I'm saying, like, no teasing. Like, no, because I will not find it funny this week. Okay. Like, it will not be funny this week. But actually, yeah, he's just been amazing. So I've actually been fine, thank God.
Yeah, it's good.
But honestly, usually I detest him. Like, really just
in those days,
question everything. Like, literally, like, borderline, like, want to kill him.
Which actually a lot of my friends have said, but we didn't talk about it before.
No.
So no one fucking knew, and then everyone thought this was abnormal.
Yeah.
Until someone starts talking about it, then you're like, oh yeah, I feel that way. And then you speak to someone else, oh yeah, no, they also feel that way. And then you're like, okay, cool, it's normalized. Why do we not have these unfiltered discussions?
Genuinely.
That would be nice, guys.
Genuinely. But that, again, is something, okay, talk about, you know, lessons for your late 20s. Going towards your late 20s, the filter drops, I fear. Like, we just don't, like, I feel like...
It's a good thing, though. Don't fear it.
It's a good thing, yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's not a good thing, but, you know, it's a good thing.
I feel like when you're in your early 20s, you're insecure, you're unsure of yourself, you're questioning everything, you're questioning your decisions, you fear being judged by people, and we still have all those emotions, like, now, too. Like, there's still... Not everything is solved here. We'll talk about this in the previous episode. Like, you don't have to fix everything, but, like... I do feel like we care a little bit less, or at least I care a little bit less about being judged. Yeah. And I'm more willing to just say how I feel, because I feel more convinced of, like...
You have conviction.
Yeah, I have more conviction now.
So there's a positive, right? Like, we talked about the sort of messiness, and maybe sometimes some people have it figured out and you don't, and the comparisons and stuff. But yeah,
but it's almost like, because we all go in different directions, we then feel like more free to talk about all the different directions we're going in.
Yeah, it's not as unusual.
Yeah, whereas I feel like when you're like, okay, right, everyone leaves school usually, unless like there's some people take different paths, but like for a lot of people in our friendship group and in our like area of the world and area of the country, you go through school, you then go to university, like you then do like a placement year, or you do an internship, or you get a job in something, you like move out of your parents' house. Like, it's like, that's kind of the way it works.
Yeah.
And so if you are doing something different, like you move back in with your parents, or you can't find a career you want, maybe go back to working in the pub again after uni because you can't like find an internship or whatever.
You go traveling, or you...
Well, even the traveling thing, that's like, I feel like it's quite cool still when you're like 21, 22 or whatever.
True.
But it's like, but if say you're not at the stage where you think you should be at, because we all go through life in different stages, maybe you don't have a relationship, you know, still, like whatever it is, you like almost feel like, oh, I haven't caught up to where everyone else is, therefore I have to like hide that about myself, I have to like make up for it in other ways, and like, you know, like,
and overcompensate
and
have an excuse for it, like, oh yeah, maybe I don't have the relationship, but look how well I'm doing at work, and that's why, because I've sacrificed time with, you know.
And I remember like feeling that experience, like even when I broke up with my first boyfriend, like that was, I've had 3 more boyfriends since then, like, you know, but I remember it being like quite a big deal to people that I had, at least that's how it was at the time, that I was 22 and I just ended my relationship. Right, okay. It's like, oh no, you have to start again. It's like, I'm only 22. Like, you know, like we're only 20. I'm only 22. Yeah. Like, of course I get to start again. Sure. But I feel like it's almost like you have to have everything, you feel like you have to have everything figured out in the right order, and if you do anything that's a step backwards, like going back to being single, or going back to working at the pub, or going back to your parents' house, it feels like you're not where you should be.
Sure.
But actually, when you get to this stage in life, it's like, oh, you broke up with someone, cool, like amazing, go have your free single life. Oh, you've been back with your parents for 6 months, like me, great, no rent, that must be amazing. True. Like, oh, you're going back to the pub, oh, that must be like, I totally get that, like I'm so sick of corporate life too. Like, people are just like, when people take a step back now, it's like, oh, that's a step in the right direction, you know, like people see it as like a step back. I get you, because like this is stressful, so like I actually am jealous. Like,
but that's interesting you say that, because that's how I feel like it's been framed to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like in ways I'm kind of a little bit maybe resentful, or a little bit Like, I wish it wasn't that framed that way. I wish I was encouraged more to explore when I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
To travel, to try out different careers, to date around a little bit. Like, I wish I was encouraged to do that then, because I feel like I'm making up for lost time now.
Yeah.
But again, there's no point with the regret, because I think a lot of it was self-inflicted. I just wasn't confident. Like you say, I didn't have the confidence, the backbone to actually go and follow through with these things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about our insecurity. And when you think about it, like you said earlier on, you were like, oh my God, I'm a third of the way through my life and I don't have all these things figured out. It's like, in my opinion, we're only 10 years into our life right now. Because everything up till the age of 18 is sorted for us.
That's true.
You know? Like, every day of our life is organised for us.
That's true.
Until that point. We don't get a choice.
We don't have decisions, yeah.
Like, we have no...
Not profound
decisions. You can't even
decisions.
drive a car until you're 17. So
True.
you can't even go and plan your own weekends, you know? So you literally have 18 full years of other people planning your life for you. So now, actually, we are 10 years old. We have got 10 years of actual life experience under our belt. Do you know what I mean?
That does feel a bit better. Yeah, I feel like we can separate it into being a child or being an adolescent versus now being an adult.
Yeah.
So we're baby adults.
Yeah.
We're like toddler adults.
That's genuinely how I think it is.
That's cool.
And that's
We're
why I
exploring
think,
and
like, the
stumbling
first
and
few years
crying.
of, like, your 20s, like, I don't think I even have advice for people in their early 20s because I do think you have to just kind of figure it out. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think anyone could have told me back then, like, oh, you know, don't stress about this or that because it's not going to matter in like 5 years time or whatever. Or, you know, oh, you're so young, like it doesn't matter if like your second or your third relationship's failed, you know, because like, you know, you're going to meet the one at 25 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like no one could have told me that and I would never have believed them.
Sure.
So
Life works in mysterious ways.
yeah, it does. And I think that like you just have to kind of just go through those. I feel like it's just a universal experience. Like you're saying like, oh, you know, I wish someone would have encouraged me when I was younger. I don't think even if someone encouraged you, you would have done it.
I wasn't ready.
You still wouldn't have
true.
done it.
No, I know. You're
Yeah.
right. I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
100% would not have. And maybe if I had, it would have been a shit show and it would have put me off traveling if I had a bad experience because I wasn't ready, or, you know, like I know this and logically I know you can't have regrets. Like I had band practice last night and for the first time, not for the first time last night, but for the first time with this kind of band and with this genre of music, I feel confident performing. I never thought, and I know I haven't performed with them yet, but even in practices, I've always been so unsure of myself. And I never thought that only now at 28 would I figure out a way to be confident with myself and the way I present myself.
Yeah.
And part of me is like, oh God, if I could have done this at 22, like how many more years could I be further? Like how many more festivals could I have done? But at the same time, like, it's just not the case.
It's not,
like,
because
I just couldn't. You can't force yourself to be ready for something when you're not ready for something.
No, but also practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
And, like, that is that experience in life. Like, you're not going to just roll out at 21 from uni and be perfect at being assertive, walking down the street, not looking at your shoes, talking to a stranger.
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
we have to learn how, like you said, baby adults. You have to learn how to do those things without your parents doing them for you.
And you learn through doing, right? Like, I think you could probably attest to this with traveling, because I've not traveled, like, I've scratched the surface. But I remember you saying to me once before that you learned so much about yourself and how to handle yourself in different situations.
Yeah.
Same conversation I had with my friend the other day, who travels a lot with work and kind of for fun, and she was saying like you get into situations you never ever thought you would ever get into. You meet people you never imagined you'd meet, and you learn about yourself through that. Or you create yourself, however you like to picture it, right? But yeah, you know.
But for me, I think the biggest thing we learn is resilience, because you don't realize how strong you are until you have to go through something.
Sure.
And like whether that thing's like really traumatic or not, I don't necessarily mean like massively traumatic things. I just mean like your flight got cancelled. It's like when you're 21 and your flight gets cancelled, that seems like the worst thing in the entire world. But when you've been on a few flights and your flight gets cancelled, you're like, oh well, you know, I know how I deal with this, right? You go to the desk, you say, look, my flight's been cancelled. When's the next one you can get me on? I can get you on this one. All right, well that's tomorrow, so I need you to put me up on accommodation. Right, that's cool. Here's the accommodation, here's the voucher, whatever. You know, all right, I'm gonna call my travel insurance to make sure I'm covered for that. Like you just know how to deal with those things, and it no longer becomes the worst thing in the world. You know?
Then you have a template, right? You have a sort of, what did I do last time? How did I get through this last time? Yeah. And then you sort of have a script almost, or a sort of like directions, like something. Although I kind of feel like I'm a little bit different in the sense of, I think it's like you say, like I feel, definitely not going to get too heavy, but I feel like I'm resilient in terms of like big things, like I don't know, like passings or traumas or whatever. I think I'm resilient in that, but if a plane, like if a train gets delayed or cancelled, I have a panic attack. I don't know what that is. That's a whole nother thing to unpack though. That's just, maybe my therapist can help me with that.
Perhaps, yes.
Or my hypnotherapist.
Yes.
Shall we summarize this pod episode?
Oh my god, are we there already?
We're there already.
Jesus, what? Have we not got any more things that we need to tell people
Well,
about?
you can give advice. I can't. I'm not in a position.
Life in your late 20s.
What's a little surprise thing that you've learned about life in your 20s that you could hand a little piece of nugget of practical information?
Good question. I honestly just think like every year it just gets better and better. Like I really do believe that. Like I'm not like scared of getting older anymore.
Okay.
You know, like I really feel like I've got 2 years left of my 20s. I mean, actually I've really only got one because I'm about to turn 29 and that's like the last year. Right. So I've got like 1 year left actually of my 20s and like I'm just gonna absolutely just YOLO the shit out of it.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Mine
I'm
is
just gonna be happy.
YOLO this shit.
Yeah.
Mine is very similar. Mine is like, it's okay to regress.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not regression. Maybe it looks like regression or it feels like regression, but maybe it's like you said, that taking the step back to take the step forwards.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just undoing things that you've done to figure it out more.
Yeah.
And redo them and do them better.
Exactly.
I love metaphors.
I feel like we've talked about this before where you're like, you can be going down this path and then realize actually you're supposed to go on this one.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, there's a few different methods to get across this one. Right, well, you can keep going up this path a bit. Maybe you'll find a shortcut.
Yeah,
maybe you won't.
You can segue, you can bridge, you can tunnel.
Maybe you're going to have to go through some like forest and it's going to be a bit... Maybe you go backtrack on yourself and go that direction, you know?
Maybe you white river raft.
And it's
turbulent as shit.
Yeah. And there's all different ways, but you're going to get on the new path eventually. Yeah. So you just have to pick which way you want to do it, you know?
And have fun with it. Try and have fun with it.
I think that's one of the biggest lessons for sure.
Make light of life.
Yeah.
I honestly do that I try and do that as much as I can because just to cope with it, like just to, like even at work.
Yeah.
When it's a stressful day. I'm so silly sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think you just need to be silly sometimes.
Yeah.
Play. Just play. We forget that we need to play.
And we forget that it's not that deep, and we talked about this a few weeks ago, but it's like, at the end of the day, like, anything that happens within these 10 years, it's not that deep.
Yeah.
Like, you have so many years ahead.
Yeah.
That it's like, these 10 years, you're going to one day look back and, like, laugh.
Yeah,
at, like,
that
the
you
decisions
worried.
you made,
Yeah.
the things you stressed about, like, something that felt like the end of the world will feel like a blip in time.
True.
When you're 45, when you're 50, you know? So I feel like it's not that deep. Just do what feels right and like don't stress about it. You know?
I like that. So in summary, you do not have to have your shit together. Some people at late 20s are traveling the world. Some people are having babies. Some people don't know what they want, and that is all good.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, hopefully with the sort of lack of maybe knowing, if you're someone like me and you kind of know less and less what you want, the older you get, maybe you can be a little more confident in that. I think Tash touched on that, of like having the self-assurance and the conviction to actually go and try things is probably also why you're only doing things now. So that's all good too. And yeah, take home messages, just have fun with it. YOLO the shit out of life. I think that's actually my favorite thing you might have said on the pod. But we did a podcast episode like celebrating our 1 year. Yay. And we said, like, we mentioned favorite things that we've been said on the pod. I think YOLO the shit out of life is my new one. It's my new one. Yeah, it's my new one.
I love that.
Awesome.
All right, thank you so much for listening, guys.
Thank you, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, 5-star review. Come back next week.
Leave us a comment and let us know a late 20s life lesson of your own if you have one for us. Or if you have any questions you want advice on from two girls YOLOing the shit out of life.
They love it.
Then drop them in the comments as well and we'll get back to you.
I think that needs to be our new slogan. Get rid of like, what was it? What's it like?
Girls Talk meets growth.
No, just YOLO the shit out of life.
Shit out of life is the new one.
But sometimes
Slightly less sophisticated.
Yeah, sometimes we do have practical advice. So, you know, not to like our own trumpets. But yeah, please come back, guys. Thank you.
Love you guys.
Bye.